Parks and recreation spaces have always been safe havens, and even more so since 2020. People are using them for social gatherings and physical activity. Our parks are working harder than ever before. The built environment, whether parks, trails, outdoor plazas, bike lanes, or cafes, has the potential to attract people, connect people, and frankly, contribute to personal and community resilience. We cannot accept building communities with higher density and substandard access to green spaces and social amenities. Our downtowns are at risk of becoming places where health benefits are negligible. Recreation service providers are upstream healthcare. I've even heard them referred to as second responders. We all know this. We all know that living within a 5-minute walk to a park significantly improves mental and physical wellness for all ages. We also know the health and climate benefits of having an abundance of trees, pollinator gardens, butterfly highways, meadows, and bee hotels. We know that youth and seniors who are resilient and feel connected to community are more likely to thrive in that community than those who are isolated and feeling they don't belong. When they participate in social recreational programs, they face less isolation, depression, and issues related to mental and physical wellness. Simply put, when they move their bodies and minds, they live better lives. Some health authorities, in my experience, are deeply involved in policy development regarding the built environment. In my wish for healthcare, there is greater alignment between policymakers to ensure health, parks and recreation, and city planning and councils align to design spaces which contribute to the overall health of individuals and communities, like bike lanes in Stanley Park. The friends we make at the local playground can last us a lifetime, creating a network for our well-being. Parks like Suckelhanem-Sisakwe in downtown Vancouver show how being creative and collaborative about design can result in spectacular spaces for all ages. It's built up with overpasses, which also provide a canvas for Indigenous culture expression. It has built-in trampolines and a coffee shop, native and Indigenous plants, and more, creating a healing and welcoming space for people of all ages. As healthcare professionals, you use these spaces and know inherently what makes them great, what features to add, and what adds to the physical, social, and mental well-being. Why then aren't public spaces required to stimulate social, physical, and mental wellness? Why isn't there public policy that requires all spaces to meet a standard? In BC, community planners have, according to the government's Healthy Built Environment website, paid increasing attention to the relationship between the built environment and the well-being of citizens. There's even a toolkit, but I cannot find definitive policy for cities to meet a particular or prescriptive standard. I can tell you from personal experience that when it comes to sewers, streets, housing, and all the other pressures of city building, that parks and recreation are often the first to be reduced. And in large cities where municipalities are bearing the brunt of housing responsibilities, that money is coming out of parks and recreation. And the people who need access to green spaces and services the most are the ones crowded into small apartments, SROs, and shelters with concrete everywhere, and growing density, taller buildings, resulting in decreased solar access and fewer trees. After all, density is not happening where the yards are sprawling and the backyard pools are abundant. It's happening where trees are needed the most, where access to parks recreation services are needed the most, where our most vulnerable are trying to thrive. The Vancouver Board of Parks and Recreation created VanPlay, a guiding plan which identifies equity zones. These zones are incredibly telling and must guide how spaces and services are prioritized in urban settings. The zones identify, among other things, that neighborhoods deficient in tree canopy are also experiencing, surprise, surprise, hotter temperatures, yet have less access to nature, shade, programs, and services. As health practitioners, I invite you to become more involved in how planning processes and policy are developed, and in how we build communities to inspire healthy, active lifestyles by design. Push for equitable policy for how the built environment and access to recreation, arts, and culture is supported to improve the health and resilience of our communities for the youth, the families, the elders, Indigenous people, single parents, people with disabilities, newcomers. Policy matters. We do not have infinite resources or finances. We must go on this journey together. The World Health Organization, as you know, says physical activity has significant health benefits for hearts, bodies, and minds, and that more than 80% of the world's adolescent population is insufficiently physically active. It calls on countries to take action to provide more opportunities to be active. They are looking at the whole of system approach, and we, Parks and Recreation and Health, are critical partners in that system. And yes, when building spaces that contribute to overall wellness, health, and resilience, we can and must do it in a way that is climate friendly, with tree canopy targets and requirements to be carbon neutral or even better. It is critical, and we must work together to prioritize locally and globally through a combined voice and responsible policy. We are first responders and second responders, and it's time for us to work together. Thank you.
Beep, beep.